Callum McFarlane's brief tenure as Chelsea boss has come to an end, not with a bang, but again with a whimper. Liam Rosenior takes hold of the team, and is he already looking at Strasbourg to start pilfering players from him? More news about another member of the bomb squad we are all desperate to see go. And Chelsea sell another academy product to a championship team for some of that tasty, pure book profits. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, an amalgamation of things to talk about, ranging from the horrendous game at Fulham yesterday, which I did watch, although I didn't do a review for. I'm not going to do a full review for it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit ambivalent about this interim period at the moment until I start seeing Rosenior in. Which is now, do you know what I mean? Which is now. But just, it's like being in limbo, isn't it? It's like football limbo. It's like, yeah, okay, the points are important. Like, I was buzzing about the point against City, but at the same time, if we'd have lost, I wouldn't have been any more disappointed or like annoyed about what's going on than I already was. And that's kind of how it felt yesterday with the Fulham game. Like, it highlighted obvious issues that Rosenior 100% needs to sort out, but I can't really blame Callum McFarlane. Do you know what I mean? It's like, bro is the under-21s coach who 10 days ago wasn't able to get into the first team part of the building, and all of a sudden he's thrust into the limelight. And at the end of the day, like, yes, we've got the players to have won that game 100%, but Callum McFarlane, ultimately, if he didn't have the managerial chops to make the changes needed or to tactically set up in the right way when he's actually in charge of the team, like, I can't really blame him for that. But guys, before we properly get into it, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so carrying on with Callum McFarlane, his tenure as the Chelsea boss has ended, but Liam Rosenior has seen enough from Callum McFarlane in the last week that he's been taking the team from what he's seen against Man City and from what he's seen against Fulham to offer him a full-time position as part of his coaching staff. So, although that's the last of Callum McFarlane taking the team, we're going to see him every single match day. I'm not sure how I feel about this. At the end of the day, like, fair play to Callum McFarlane for getting the point against City, but the Fulham game shows you, doesn't it, that, yeah, okay, the randomness of the Premier League, you know, maybe he's not quite ready for that yet, but for whatever reason, and obviously Liam Rosenior will be a much more intelligent man than I, he has decided to give him a full-time job. Now, what was kind of plain to see is he had the respect of the players. Do you know what I mean? You saw that when Reece James kind of grabbed him to bring him up to the fans at the end of the Man City game to get his flowers for such a good performance. So what his role is going to be, I don't know, but you know, if it is just bridging a gap to help create a good relationship with the players to Rosenior as well, okay, cool, maybe that makes sense. Sticking with Liam Rosenior, we'll move on to players that we are looking at, players that he is apparently looking at, and obviously, because we just get everyone from Stratonsburg, Brighton and Strasbourg now, don't we? We are looking at a player that is currently playing for Strasbourg and obviously came from Brighton, because as I've mentioned before, we cannot even blow our noses without Brighton being involved somehow, can we? Just before I get onto the player itself, I'm hitting this point of like conspiracy theory nonsense. Do you know what I mean? What is the Brighton thing, man? Is it genuinely just as simple as, oh, we like the way that they do business, they make lots of money, but and is that it? Is that literally it? Have we just seen? Why are we getting everyone from Brighton? Why is every single player, not every single player, but why have so many of the staff and the players that we've bought got some sort of connection to either Brighton or Man City? Do you know what I mean? Joe Shields from Man City, Winstanley, was it from Brighton? I can't remember now. Some of them, Lawrence Stewart, I can't remember. Some of the other directors are from Brighton. Liam Rosenior was at Brighton. Mark Cucurella was at Brighton. It's like literally all of our players and staff are either from Brighton or Man City at this point. And I'm just like, is that smart, or is that just we've hired these guys that are from Brighton and Man City and now they're just constantly looking to hire people that have been a part of either Brighton or Man City? I don't know. It just feels like there's something more to it. But I'm just being a conspiracy theorist. Which I'm not really. I've got a woolly hat on, not a tinfoil one. Do you know what I mean? So maybe, but maybe I am just getting a little bit carried away with it. But Can someone else explain to me the Brighton thing? Like, I understand, we like their model or whatever, but can you really just do this much business with a team without there being some sort of tangible investment? Not necessarily a monetary one, but it just feels like there's a greater connection there other than, oh yeah, we like your model. Do you know what I mean? Just think it's all a bit weird. Anyway, let's get on to the player. It is Valentin Barco, currently 21-year-old Argentine versatile player. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because we love an Argentine and we love a versatile player. So he's actually a reasonably interesting player. He plays largely centre midfield for Strasbourg. He was playing a lot of left back / midfield at Brighton, and he can play on the wings as well. So I understand this link. If we just look at the player in isolation, whether it's a good idea to go in for a Strasbourg player right now, not so sure about that. But I do see the value of the player itself. Like, we need a midfielder. Lavia, it's probably just not going to happen, is it? Dario Asugo, okay, maybe he's going to be back soon, but we can't expect him to just come straight back into the team because he's coming off a massive injury. He's been injured for a long time now, and he's had several, I think it's 2 setbacks as well. He should have been back already, but he keeps getting set back. So, the midfield thing really is an issue, and even before Maresca got sacked, we'd seen that Bluco had identified midfield as the area that needed to strengthen in the January window, which I do 100% get. So, Valentin Barco does that. It does a few things. It's a player that Liam Rosenior already knows, he already likes, he already uses a lot. He's played 15 games in the league for Strasbourg this season. 14 of those have been starts. He's got 1 goal and 4 assists. So 33% of the time, he's getting a number, and he's a reliable player, and he will also understand the system, right? This is the other big thing, isn't it? Now, I get a little bit of like, we bought Kiernan Dewsbury Hall from Leicester because he understood Maresca's system as well, and then he couldn't even get a sniff, could he? Hopefully, Valentin Barco could turn, if we do go in for him, turns out to be a better player. There's been a bit of mixed noise, like, I think it was like a day or two ago, there was news from Strasbourg saying, no, we're not selling Valentin Barco, but the truth is, like, you just don't know, do you, at this point? It could literally happen. And it's not like Strasbourg, as an individual entity, get to make that decision, because ultimately it is the same set of sporting directors that are essentially making the majority of player transaction decisions for both clubs. So I could see it being a useful sign-in, kind of like, it doesn't actually happen that often either. Every now and again, you get a manager that comes in and he's like, I want that player. You might remember we got Jorginho for Sarri for the same reason. Although, when Jorginho came in for Sarri, ended up playing like a completely different role. Really interesting. But at the same time, Liam Rosenior needs to hit the ground running. If he expects a particular role from a particular player, then Valentin Barco might be a good one to bring in. I'm sure Marc Cucurella is going to play that role well already. He's not going to exactly be playing over the likes of Enzo Fernandez or Moises Caicedo or stuff. And I think that also means is we can see Andre Santos maybe being the designated Caicedo back up now, because we've seen he's quite a good number 6. And then maybe we get a Valentin Barco and he comes in and plays support for maybe Marc Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez, depending on the situation. And we don't even know what the formation and the tactics are going to be like yet. So either way, interesting, like the player, think he looks good, fits the model, 21, versatile, young, blah, big selling value, all that rubbish, do you know what I mean? All that stuff that we don't actually care about. But just as far as helping Liam Rosenior to come in and hit the ground running, I can see why that might be useful. So from potential players into potential players out, it is that time of the week. We're going to talk about Axel Disasi, because it's at least, it's like once a week, once a fortnight, isn't it? We have a little chat about Axel, chilling in the bomb squad, playing with the under-21s, one time trained with the first team. So it was kind of always feeling like as soon as we got to January, Axel Disasi was going to be like a big point of conversation, wasn't he? And what we're seeing at the moment is what we've been seeing for a lot of the time. AC Milan seems to be the preferred destination. Now, it's getting complicated though, because the thing with Axel Disasi is loads of people are interested in him, but nobody wants to be the first one to like put a bid in or buy him or something. Do you know what I mean? There is something reticent about every club that is interested in Axel Disasi that is stopping them from just taking the leap and going in for him. And what that probably is the fact that he hasn't played football for an entire half of a season. Now, that squarely for me falls down to both Enzo Maresca and Axel Disasi. Enzo Maresca will have told Axel Disasi at the start of the season, you're not in my plans. You're not in my squad. I am not going to use you. And look, there were plenty of opportunities where we had centre-back issues, that Axel Disasi could at least have been tried, and we didn't. Do you know what I mean? We preferred to finish the game against Liverpool with 4 fullbacks on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? So Enzo Maresca obviously told Axel Disasi, and Axel Disasi had offers on the table in the summer as well. Bournemouth, West Ham, Wolves, and he was like, nope, not interested. He wanted to go to Europe. And he made that decision at the time that he'd rather risk spending half a season in the bomb squad than going to one of those clubs. Now, Axel Disasi is half a season older than he was before, hasn't played much football, and ultimately I imagine that's going to be different now. But the problem is, because he hasn't played any football, his stock has dropped and people aren't as willing to take a risk or take a chance on him as they were before, obviously, because it's not like you've seen him play. He had the perfect opportunity then. People were interested in him because even though he wasn't playing at Chelsea, he'd spent the last half of last season on loan at Aston Villa, sorry. So, and he'd done reasonably well. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't like tearing up trees, but good enough for other clubs to be interested in him. We didn't have any more European loan slots left. No European clubs were coming in to buy him. He was offered moves to, like I said, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, turn them all down. So now what we've got is an AC Milan that are looking at Disasi and going, you fit the profile, you're not too expensive, but you haven't played football for absolutely ages. So we're not sure. So then no one's looking to be completely willing to pull the trigger on him, essentially. So what seems to be happening now is news is arising and coming out that Chelsea are offering Axel Disasi to other English clubs, namely Leeds and West Ham. West Ham are relegation fodder, which is mad, by the way. Absolutely mad. This season's been full of crazy stuff, man. Even just aside from Chelsea, this has been a mental season. And West Ham being in relegation zone, and you know, Wolves looking like they're going straight down as well. Like it is mad, isn't it? It is mad that 2 promoted teams are probably quite likely to stay up this season. But yeah, so West Ham and Leeds. Okay, you would have thought Axel Disasi will probably just jump at the first person that goes after him at the moment because he needs to start building his stock back up. But hopefully, what this does is makes AC Milan go, oh, okay, we don't want to miss out on him. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't think it's going to be a money thing because he's not going to be very expensive because he wasn't, you know, already a particularly hot property at the end of last season, and his value has only decreased because he hasn't played a single game of professional football this season. So yeah, hopefully AC Milan just pull up their big boy pants and say, okay, Axel, come on, off your pop. Let's get you to join the rest of the ex-Chelsea contingent that we've got here. They're all having a great time. You can come in and be part of it. So yeah, and we just need to see it, don't we, really? You know, Raheem Sterling is also being linked with moves away to West Ham was another one. West Ham all over the Chelsea outcasts at the moment, but they are desperate and need some quality and experience in their team, of which I think on their days, Disasi and Sterling both have. So, you know, maybe West Ham's a good destination for both of them, but it still feels like with Axel Disasi wanting to go back to Europe, Milan seems to be the best destination, and I hope it happens. And we shall wrap up today's video with a little bit of news about a Chelsea player that has been sold. It is Leo Castledine, 20-year-old centre-attacking midfielder who was an academy player. He spent 7 years at Wimbledon in their academy, moved to Chelsea, has had a few loans out, is currently at loan, or he spent most of his time in League One, currently on loan at Huddersfield, having a storming season in the Championship, absolutely smashing it. Middlesbrough have come in for him and they're like, we want a bit of that. They've made an offer. We've accepted it. I haven't seen the amount of money, but what I have seen is that Chelsea have inserted a sell-on clause, which largely is probably going to be that 40-50% that we've been seeing a bit of recently, haven't we? So that kind of makes sense. You know, Leo Castledine is an academy player, so it is pure book profit now, and when he gets sold in the future, that is also pure profit, however much he gets sold for. If he gets sold for 20 million, we make 10, 15, we make 7.5, you know how it is. So yeah, that's, you know, no one's going to be particularly sad about this one. I don't think he looked like a really good player, but this is just going to happen all the time now. We are going to see academy players get sold a lot because of how much they're worth. Now, there are going to be some changes next season, so I won't get into it in this video, but I might do a video a bit later down the line when we're a bit close to next season. There's going to be lots of changes in how the Premier League regulates their finances, with rules that have been voted on by and for and against by clubs. And basically, they're changing to a new financial model next year, which will actually give us a lot more freedom than we currently have, than PSR. PSR has kind of handcuffed us a little bit. This new model is going to free us up a little bit, so we're going to be able to spend more money. But until that happens, you can imagine that selling academy players is just a good way to make money at the moment, isn't it? So, yeah, Leo Castledine on his way out. Good luck. I can't be particularly sad about him. Funnily enough, the only time I've ever seen him in a Chelsea shirt was against Middlesbrough. Not last year, it's 2026 now. In 2024, well, I'm getting tongue-tied. One day out, and I'm my tongue is getting all confused and forgotten how to talk. But yeah, so Leo Castledine, man, I don't know, not particularly bothered, but it is just one of those. He is gone, and we got an official here we go from Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio Romano deemed it to be newsworthy, so here I am regurgitating it to you all. So that's it for the news, guys, and here we are. The era of Liam Rosenior begins. He has hired Callum McFarlane to be part of his backroom staff. He is targeting ex-players in Strasbourg, and hopefully he is going to be aided by the sales of some bomb squad stuff. That Disasi and Sterling and Leo Castledean's already out. The squad is being trimmed and ready to reinvigorate with hopefully a couple of new players. There's a couple of things that I'm backing Rosenior, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm backing it. I can't really get behind all the negativity that's going on at the moment, because ultimately I just want to watch my team win football games. What will be will be. But I am just for the interim going to focus on the here and the now. I do appreciate, actually, that in the loss to Fulham, fair play to the fans who made themselves known with the banners. There's going to be more of that. I am very intrigued to see how that changes and how that rolls out, and if that can, at the very least, be the beginning of some sort of change of strategy for Blueco about how they're modelling the club. There has been, not an announcement, but something came out yesterday or today saying Blueco are not looking to move away from their high trading model where they focus on young players to make value. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be persuaded to buy some experience into the team when it comes to winning titles in the here and now. The other interesting thing, just to kind of really wrap up, is supposedly Liam Rosenior's expectations are the same as Enzo Maresca's was, so that's good, and that's what I want it to be. And I was on a live stream with the Blue Lounge and behind the dugouts, and I was asked, like, what are your expectations now Liam Rosenior's coming in? And I was like, they haven't changed. We've got the squad at least for a Champions League place and to win a trophy. Do you know what I mean? To win, whether it be the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, we 100% are capable of doing that. We've shown it recently, like, in a really bad spot, we're getting draws against City. Yes, we lost against Fulham, but when it comes to the big teams, who is ultimately who you end up facing at the end of these competitions, isn't it, for the most part, we can definitely get something out of these games and potentially we could win them. So, for me, it's definitely still a case of top four, has to be, or Champions League, whatever that is. I'm still not sure how the coefficient's working at the moment, whether we're going to have that fifth spot. If we do fifth, it'll be, a step back from last season, but if we get Champions League, then, that's kind of my expectation. And ultimately, a trophy run to get, I think Arsenal's going to be tough in it, man. That's the truth. I'm going to be doing a really interesting preview with an Arsenal fan, so I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. But yeah, as far as Rosenior's expectations go, top four and a trophy is still the one. Let's give him a chance. We will know after a month. Do you know what I mean? I think after this next month with 10 games, he's got 10 games in a month. He's being thrown into the deep end with the Sharks circling, ready to pounce on him. He's under so much pressure, and he will have known that coming in. So I have some respect for him for just knowing that he's literally being thrown into the lion's den. And that's just going to be what it will be. So guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Thank you very much for sticking around until the end. If you did, hope you're all having a wicked day, and I will catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.